Ezra Levant here. It's the end of a slogging day at the Lethbridge courthouse. Inside, 4 men, truckers all, who were arrested a year and a half ago at the Coutts trucker blockade. Unlike other truckers and others with the convoy in other parts of the country, these 4 men were charged with very serious criminal offenses, including conspiracy to commit murder. So they have not been granted bail. Pastor Arthur Pavlovsky and Tamara Leach were each kept in prison for almost 50 days. But after that, they were, in fact, released on bail. These men, it's over 500 days now. They're still in prison, and the trial almost 1 year away. What were we doing in court? Well, it was not the trial. The jury has not yet been impaneled. It was dealing with pre-trial applications, motions. Yesterday, it was on whether or not a confession of one of the men was improperly extracted from him. The judge ruled that no, it was not. It was fairly said. The man was given his legal cautions. He had a call with a lawyer, etc. Today, they were talking about an allegation by the defense that the Crown prosecutor gave false and illegal instructions to the cops. In fact, the defense lawyers claimed it was an illegal act, and the defense were asking that more prosecutor-police communications, which are covered by something called solicitor-client privilege, in other words, they're secret, the defense lawyers were asking that that be made public and revealed, saying that they had reason to believe that it was improper and the police were directed in improper ways. That was not resolved, and in fact, at the last minute, the police put in a new affidavit, literally in the last moment, catching the defense by surprise, and they said, "We need more time to review this, Your Honor." So the whole court was adjourned before 3 p.m. The court started at 10 a.m., had a 90-minute lunch break, 2 15-minute breaks, and was done at 3. But it was an intensive day. But that gives you a feeling for the kind of hard slogging. And most, if not all, of the lawyers here are not based in Lethbridge. They're either in Calgary or, at least in one case, I think Edmonton. So there's enormous cost all around. It's heartbreaking. I had a moment with one of the family members. It was more than a moment, and the sorrow and the heartbreak was palpable. This prosecution is an enormous public enterprise. There are 3 prosecutors on the case, if I'm not mistaken. There were, I think, 4 defense counsel in there, maybe 5. Then there was the 4 police. There was 2 clerks and a judge, and dozens of police who were involved in the case against these truckers. It's truly enormous. I don't know what to make of it because we have not had the substantive trial. And there are certain facts of which I'm aware, but I cannot tell you because they're covered by a publication ban, and I would be breaking the law to describe them to you. It limits the ability to cover this. I was the only accredited journalist here, which means I filled out the application form of the courts. There are a few citizen journalists here too. An interesting quirk, the courtroom was absolutely jammed with friends and family. In fact, when the 4 men were brought in, they would shout, we love you, back and forth, and it was almost like a kind of prison visit. It was quite boisterous. This all happened when the judge was not in the room. However, at one point, the judge came in and admonished people not to do that sort of thing, even when the court wasn't in session. I found it a bit strict, and frankly, I disagreed with it, but then again, I'm not the judge. It's not my courtroom. So that's my visit here today, and I was here yesterday as well, and as far as I know, this will continue all week, and frankly, this will continue for many more months. The trial itself will not be until next spring. These men will, by that point in time, be, 2.5 years in prison, coming up on 1,000 days. It's a terrible situation. We'll do our best to cover it journalistically. I don't think we're going to cover the hearing minutiae as we have these last 2 days. It's just not newsworthy or interesting enough. We absolutely will cover the trial, of course. And as a word to those who ask, why isn't Rebel News funding the lawyers for these men? Given that we fund so many other cases, we're funding 3,000 cases, ranging from modest cases of a lockdown ticket or a social distancing ticket to enormous cases like Arthur Pavlovsky, Chris Scott, Tamara Leach. The answer is very simple: donor intent. When Rebel News and the Democracy Fund say they will defend civil liberties cases, civil disobedience, that does not cover murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, pretty much nothing with the word murder in it. And although my heart breaks for the family members whose family are in jail, and if these men are not guilty, it will be a terrible travesty that they've spent so much time in prison, I simply cannot, as a fiduciary, agree that donations made for civil disobedience cases, for civil liberties cases, be diverted to cases where extreme conspiracies planning violence are alleged. I say alleged because these men are innocent until proven guilty. Trouble is, a bail judge said they are a danger and must be jailed until trial. What a woeful thing this is. That's my report. For all of my reports on today's subject, you can go to rebelfieldreports.com. And I've also filmed an entire episode of the Ezra Levant show. That's my paywalled show. You can find that at rebelnewsplus.com. That's how to subscribe. And it was a heavy show, but there were two light moments when someone interrupted my little monologue here. And I thought those were interesting as well, and I kept them both in. That's it from here. On behalf of all of us at Rebel News, keep fighting for freedom.